Snow White and Rose Red. In the cottage lived a widow and her two beautiful daughters, Snow White and Rose Red, who were named after the two rose bushes. The girls were as good and kind as they were beautiful. They loved their mother and helped her with the housework. After they finished, they often ran to nearby fields to play happily together. In the evening, Snow White and Rose Red sat quietly with their mother by the fireside. Their mother taught them to do fine needlework and knitting, and they passed away many happy hours sitting together around the fire. Late one cold winter evening, they heard a loud knock at the door. Who could it be? Snow White and Rose Red opened the door. They stood a huge brown bear. The girls gasped with surprise. "Don't be afraid," said the bear. "I will not harm you. If you will give me shelter from the cold, I promise to leave when spring comes." The girls and their mother welcomed the bear into their home, and there he stayed all through the winter. Sure enough, on the first day of spring, the friendly brown bear said goodbye to the two sisters who had shown him so much kindness. The same day, the girls met a small, ugly dwarf whose long little white beard was caught in a bramble bush. They freed the dwarf, but instead of thanking the girls, he scolded them, complaining that they had hurt him when they pulled his beard. The next day, Snow White and Rose Red were out in the fields picking berries when a large bird flew over them. They heard a desperate cry for help. They found that the bird held in his claws the little dwarf was about to carry him away. Rose Red beat off the bird with a heavy stick until he dropped the dwarf and flew away. Once again, the dwarf showed no gratitude to the girls for saving his life. "You weren't very gentle. Next time, be more careful," he shouted. Later, they saw the dwarf again. He was holding a large brown bag full of most beautiful jewels. As they spilled from the bag, they glinted and sparkled in the sunshine like hundreds of beautiful stars. At that very moment, a large brown bear came lumbering out of the forest. The startled little dwarf turned to run away, but the bear knocked him down with one large paw and reached for the bag of jewels. The dwarf cried out in terror, "Spare me, Lord Bear. I will return all your treasure and much more besides if you only will spare my life." Snow White and Rose Red did not understand what they had heard. They were frightened by what they had seen and were just about to turn and run home, and when they heard a familiar voice. "Snow White, Rose Red, don't be afraid. Wait, I will go with you." They turned around, and there, instead of the bear, was a handsome prince. The bearskin was lying at his feet. The prince explained, "You remember me as the large brown bear that you took in out the cold. I'm really a royal prince. Several years ago, I was captured by this wicked dwarf who promised me to return to my father for a large bag of jewels. My father gave him the jewels, but before sending me home, he changed me into a bear. My own people did not know who I was and chased me away. You and your mother were very kind to me, letting me stay with you through the winter. I promised myself then that one day I will repay you. You saved the dwarf for me so that he could change me back to my true form. I will take you home now, but soon I'll send for you to join me at the palace. The prince's words gave promise of a happy future for Snow White and Rose Red. A few days later, the two sisters were summoned to the palace. There was much rejoicing in the kingdom, for the well-loved prince had come home again. After a while, Snow White was married to the prince, and Rose Red was married to the prince's brother. Their mother came to live in the castle with her two daughters and their husbands. The two rose bushes which had stood beside the cottage were brought to the kingdom and planted in front of the palace. Every year one bush was covered with red roses and the other one with white. The end.